illegal basement apartments. That's what I'm going to talk about, and then get into the latest home prices and insights for the Peel and Durham region for week ending May 15th, 2024. There are lots and lots and lots of basement apartments spread across the GTA. Mississauga, Brampton, Durham have their fair share. There's lots there. There's the legal ones, the ones that have been inspected, passed all fire codes, have all the electrical safeties been passed, have been done properly, and are legal. And your insurance knows about it, and the tenants are living there in safety, and all the wonderful things that are associated with the word legal. But the majority, the vast majority, are illegal. So if you are considering buying a home with a basement apartment, and in this market, this economy, this day and time, many buyers are looking for that to help with their expenses. Well, look, there's tons that are illegal out there, and that's just the way it is. People rent their basement, and it's not legal. It never was legal, and they'll probably never make it legal. But you need to really, really understand what you're buying here if that's the plan. If your plan is, I'm going to buy a house and I'm going to rent the basement, and so I want to buy a house with a basement apartment. If it's legal, you'll pay a little more, but you can sleep with peace of mind. If it's illegal, meaning it's not past all the different safety features and the codes, and it's not registered with the city as a legal second dwelling in the home, at any moment, anytime, any moment, you can be fined. The city could be knocking on your door saying, hey, this is not allowed. How do they even know, right? Because that's what a lot of people think about. How are they going to know I'm renting my basement? Well, the city doesn't know. However, one of your neighbors is going to complain. That's almost always how the city finds out. Somebody complains. Somebody calls the city and says, hey, this person has a tenant in the basement. Why do they do that? Maybe your tenant is noisy. Maybe there's, parking issues there. Maybe this, maybe that. Maybe you fight with your neighbor and your neighbor just wants to get back at you for something. Who knows? It doesn't matter because the end result is the same. Knock, knock, knock. Excuse me, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, can I inspect your basement? And if you have tenants, you have an illegal basement apartment, you're going to get fined. They may tell you, you can't do this anymore. You can't rent your basement, which now means you have an issue with your tenants. You've got to give them notice to get out. But what if they have a lease signed for a year or two? Then what? Well, you've got other problems that you didn't count on. First of all, you needed the money from the rent. That's why you bought it in the first place. Now that's going to dry up. And your tenant is at a disadvantage. It's not necessarily their fault. So there's an issue there. Now the tenant could have easily just only go out and rented basements that are legal, but few and far between, right? The tenant needs a place to stay. They normally don't have the financial means to be so picky and choosy sometimes. They're happy, just getting what they can get in the meantime with how expensive things are. You've been reaping the rewards from having that extra income come in. So the onus really is on the landlord here. Well, all that changes just like that, so fast, so quick, because somebody complained, and now you've got an issue with the city. And those are just city level issues I'm talking about, that all this can dry up, stop, and you can get fined. What if it's worse? God forbid, but what if there's a fire and something tragic happens? Your insurance may not even cover you because you have an illegal basement apartment. These are all things to consider. I'm not telling you not to do it. You make your decisions there. But you kind of got to know the consequences should these things come up. So before you just quickly say, yeah, I'm going to rent my basement and get all the money, understand there are consequences to these decisions, and you got to know it. And it's not just a slap on the wrist, and it's not a simple thing to get out of once the city knows you have an illegal basement apartment. If you think this video can help somebody please pass it along. If you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. If you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. There's a link up here. There's a link below this video in the description. My calendar is there. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Now, let's get into the numbers. At the end of this video, we showcase a detached property in Brampton that backs onto a park, has a full legal basement apartment, and is completely renovated like you won't believe. Have a look. Let's get into the numbers. Here we go. Mississauga, Brampton, Durham. Brampton and Durham, average prices usually pretty close together. Sales or average price 1 week to the next, to the current week we're in, came down. Mississauga, it's going the other way. Prices seem to be, for the last couple of weeks, going upwards. We're going to start off with Mississauga. I should say for this whole show, we're only focused on detached properties. So for Mississauga, for week ending May 15th, 51 detached properties were sold. Normally, I would say sales are trending up, trending down. I'm not sure what's happening here. They're kind of average, I guess, around 50 over the last few weeks. So maybe it's kind of flat, but it is going up and down. But 9 of those properties sold at $2 million or more. It's not often that we'll see a number as high as 9 selling at $2 million or more in Mississauga. Average sold price, $1,582,000. There's only, so far this year, this is the third time we've been more than $1,580,000. 1,580 is 1% lower than where we were this time a year ago. The median price is 2% lower. And if we look at the dotted line, actually over the last few weeks, it kind of seems that average price and median price are coming down. And here's where you kind of gotta, I look at the data and I say, yeah, but we had this 1 week that's so low. If that's not there, it might show prices trending up a little bit. So we had one abnormal week that didn't make sense. And I'm not trying to kind of push the conversation one way or another. I'm just trying to be as realistic as I can to really understand what's happening. Because I'm also in the field with buyers, with sellers. We just sold a property in Mississauga. I know what happened, how fast it sold, and the kind of demand we had. So it's hard to think prices are coming down across Mississauga. 51 were sold. 43% sold at list price or more. You see that percentage for the last 4 weeks is trending up. It's not indicative of prices coming down if the percentage selling at list price or more is going up. Listings. Lots of listings. We're listing way more than what we listed last year. Active listings is increasing. Months of inventory sitting at 2.7 months of inventory. They're climbing. So active listings is climbing. Months of inventory is climbing. That does kind of give the idea that prices are coming down. So there's a lot of mixed signals right now for Mississauga detached properties. Brampton. 51 detached properties were sold. Sales are not moving much. The last few weeks we did 46, 49, 51. So it's going up by 2 or 3. Not a big difference. 2 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price is $1,170,000. I drew a straight line because kind of seems Overall, it's up and down, but overall the average is kind of flat. 1170 is 10% lower than where we were this time a year ago. The median price is 11% lower. If we look at the dotted line, the 4-week moving average, if we look at the average price, we were trending down. Now it looks like it's kind of flat. The median price, however, looks like it's trending down. This is for Brampton detached properties. 51 were sold, 31% sold at list price or more. That percentage is trending down. Lots of more listings. Active listings is increasing. Months of inventory, a little higher, now sitting at 3.6 months of inventory. Pretty much a balanced market. Here's Durham. Now for Durham, I'm using Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby as my Durham sample. 61 detached properties were sold. It's down from the previous week. They were climbing. I'm not sure what the trend is right now. Are sales going up, going down? Hard to say. No property sold at $2 million or more. Average sold price sitting at $1,130,000. 1130 is 7% lower year over year. The median price is 6% lower. The dotted line, kind of flat or trending up just over the last 4 weeks. Of the 61 that sold, 69% sold at list price or more. 119 we saying are listed. That's a drop from where we were listing before in the 140s. Active listings is increasing. 1.3 is the months of inventory. That's up from the previous week. And folks, 1.3 is still very low, pretty much a seller's market there. However, we were at 1.1 for 3 months at least here on the board. We're now, it may look like it's starting to increase months of inventory. And we can see that with the active listings starting to grow. Here's a quick summary. In most cases, you're going to see a balanced market or the top end of a seller's market. That really depends on the type of home, the neighborhood that you're in, supply and demand for that area. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Folks, you're about to see the inside of 32 Sturrock Drive, renovated top to bottom. Now, attention to detail and craftsmanship are evident throughout this home. And there's a full legal basement apartment. Have a look. Not too many homes come with their own indoor treehouse. Your kids will love it. This kitchen, what can I say? It is double the size and far superior in quality than any standard kitchen. No expense was spared in this legal 2-bedroom basement apartment.